Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us in today's webinar around scenario planning. Today, we'll focus on mastering scenario planning and what-if analysis in SAP Analytics Cloud, building best, worst, and expected cases, running real-time simulations, and instantly seeing KPI impacts. You will see how finance, sales, and operations can collaborate on a single model to pressure test assumptions and steer decisions with confidence. Let's get started. Dan and Sri, please take it away.
Thanks, Anna. Hello all, this is Sri Kondapalli, a principal consultant with Simplify. I have an experience of over 15 years in FP&A, SAP BPC, SAP BW, SAC planning, and DataSphere. So today we'll be talking more about scenario planning in SAC and what are the capabilities of SAC in doing what-if analysis. Over to you, Dan.
Thank you, Sri. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Skinzel. I'm a Senior Director and Client Partner at Simplify. I work closely with Sri and our projects and work with clients in project implementation and so forth. So glad to be with you today as we go through this process. Yeah, today we'll be covering, we'll take a quick look at who is Simplify and what we do, and then I'll turn it over to Sri, who will go through our webinar content and scenario planning. So I'll make this first part short and sweet as we go through our company. So many companies turn to Simplify Solutions because of our unique blend of product and process expertise, where CIOs, CFOs, IT folks, FP&A analysts, and so forth that make up our staff. We provide full support throughout your customer journey, and that ranges from selecting and buying to implementing, adopting, even expanding your SAP solutions. The holistic approach solidifies your tech investment, ensuring you not only integrate smoothly, but also foster sustainable growth for your company over the long term. When you do partner with Simplify, you're going to gain a trusted ally that helps you navigate the complexities of SAP solutions and touch points, and ultimately drive your long-term success, just as these companies have here that we've partnered with. So like I was saying, we're a firm of partners that are focused on business process design. That's a lot of what we do, as well as the content and automation, and implementing SAC planning and analytics and consolidation solutions using primarily SAP Analytics Cloud. We're a perfect combination of services and platforms, applications using our Planify applications. All of this has resulted in Simplify being the go-to gold partner for things SAP Analytics Cloud in this planning and analytics space. So as we look at our Planify applications, we have spent thousands of hours into building these applications on top of SAP Analytics Cloud. Like I said, based on our experience in the finance space, we have a lot of expertise to build out these applications that are really, think of them as accelerators that can really lessen your implementation time in any of these areas, ranging from sales, revenue, and costing to HR planning and capital planning to full financial statement planning as well. Some of these applications are available on the SAP store that you can look up there and searching on Simplify. So as we kind of look at some of our applications and how it looks from an architectural standpoint, as a starting point, we've combined, like I said, a lot of our FP&A backgrounds with the SAP technology to provide that holistic EPM process. So we can look at these applications to really give you a start anywhere and grow into everywhere kind of aspect to your business scenario. So starting out with HR planning and revenue planning, if that is a need for your business, but then moving into capital planning and pipeline and sales planning, ultimately to get you to a fully consolidated financial planning suite using these Planify applications as your starting point. Another offering of Simplify and Planify is really wanting to talk to the finance chiefs and talk about efficiency out there. So instead of juggling 3 or even more different tools, for your consolidations, BI, your planning, and even your ERP, SAP Planning and Consolidations with SAP Analytics Cloud and the Planify applications, you're really working with your ERP and a single source of truth, having all of those applications in one place for your consolidations, BI, and your planning. So having one source of truth and sitting on that side of the fence, if you will, on the FP&A side for 20 plus years, I always wished I had that single source of truth in the companies I worked at. But with SAP Analytics Cloud, it provides you that opportunity for that streamlined approach. So with that, that's a quick introduction of Simplify and what we bring to the SAP Analytics Cloud and ERP planning space. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Sri, and he can take us through today's content.
Thank you, Dan. So today's webinar content, right? So scenario planning. So what is scenario planning, right? Scenario planning explores multiple possible futures by combining different assumptions and events. So these scenarios are not meant to be exact forecast, but rather an alternative perspectives on how the future might evolve, right? By examining them, organizations can identify potential risks and opportunities, enabling them to respond more effectively as situations develop. So imagine you are the coach of a soccer team about to play a championship final. You don't know how exactly the game would unfold, but you do know it could go in very different directions. So you prepare, right? So in the best case scenario, your team scores goals early, momentum is on your side, and weather is good. You keep pressing forward, right? In the worst case scenario, one of your key players might get injured, or you consider a goal, so you shift to a defensive formation and rely on counterattacks. So in the most likely scenario, it's a balanced game. You are already prepared, like with substitution, set piece routines, or even you might go for a penalty practice if needed, right? So that's what scenario planning is all about. Just like a coach prepares multiple game strategies, business prepare for multiple futures. We can't predict exactly what will happen, whether it's market shifts, supply disruptions, customer demand changes, but by planning for different outcomes, we ensure we are ready to adapt, compete, and still find a path to win. So these are the advantages of uh, scenario planning, right? So risk awareness and mitigation. So evaluating multiple outcomes enables the organization to spot potential threats early and design proactive strategies to reduce their impact, right? So the strategic decision support. This scenario planning delivers fact-based insights that guide leadership towards smart choices aligned with long-term goals. And it also helps in organizational agility by building flexibility into planning. Businesses are better positioned to pivot their strategies swiftly in response to the external shifts. So fostering innovation. Exploring alternative futures encourages out-of-the-box thinking and drives creative approaches to the challenges that businesses are facing today. Strengthen market position. So being prepared for different possibilities allows companies to stay ahead of competitors who are less responsive. Sustainable growth. So scenario planning supports long-term resilience and ensures continuity and uncertainty. So what capabilities or what features of SAC are we going to look today, and what features of SAC are capable of scenario planning? So today we are going to have a demo on version management and Compass, but along with this, we can do scenario planning in predictive scenario planning feature, value driver tree feature, and also charts and dashboards. So along with this, SAC is kind of a it offers various advantages like analytics, predictive analytics, financial consolidation, real-time data and insights, customizable dashboards, integration with SAP and non-SAP systems. All these features make SAP Analytics Cloud a powerful tool for planning, forecasting, and reporting, helping you optimize and improve project outcomes. So this is the forecasting scenario that we do have currently. So these are the drivers, volumes, and ASP. So let's talk about the best case scenario first. Okay. So customer demands exceeds expectation, or new markets open, or product adapt accelerates, right? So higher volumes drive stronger top line growth. But what it actually meant is it requires additional capacity, logistics, and also inventory management. So considering there is a high demand, say let's increase. So before we even go there, right? So there is a concept called as version management, where we can copy versions into private and public versions, and we can do our scenario planning based on this. So you see this button. So I'm going to copy this forecast, name it. So this is the forecast version is saved as a private version in the name of best scenario. See here, I can make changes to the existing to the specific version, share it with my manager, right? Uh, and see if everything is fine, and then publish it for all the users to consume or view it. So in the best case scenario, like I told, let's increase the volume for the whole year by 10%. Give me a second. Okay. So I'm going to create a private version first by copying the existing forecasted data. So I'm going to increase as demand is more, I'm going to increase my volumes. So my volumes are increased for the whole year, right? So then I'm going to run my revenue calculation on my private version, and my sales revenue is modified. It's changed. So now I'm going to publish this as a public version, right? So that all the users can consume it. So I'll say it as best case scenario. Yeah. So now we're done with this. So now I want to do a worst case scenario, right? So where the demand declines due to market slowdown or a competitive pressure or an external shock, lower volumes reduce sales and thereby impacting the revenue. So I'll go back to my forecast version, the baseline version again, right? Create a private version, right? So I would reduce my volumes by -7% and run my data action, calculate the revenue, right? So yeah, this is what is calculated. So now I would publish this as a public version. So here you go. You have the calculated revenue for best case, base case, or the forecasted version, and the worst case, right? So we can do a quick comparison here, right? So let's take the best case, base case, and the worst case. So through this chart, right, we can see in detail, right, by quarter or even by month, right? So how my sales revenue was impacted when it is the best case, base case, and worst case. You can do a quick analysis here, right, based on these charts. So usually, right, so in the best case, opportunity to expand or invest further would be there, right? The worst case, it would trigger a cost control measures, right? Base case, it's just monitoring and stay balanced as it is now. So this is one of the examples or how we can do scenario planning in SAC uh, through version management. Now let's get into the other topic named as SAC Compass. So what is SAC Compass? So SAC Compass is a business planning feature with SAP Analytics Cloud platform that uses Monte Carlo simulations to analyze business risk. It simulates thousands of possible scenarios based on uncertain variables. This helps users understand the range of potential outcomes and make more agile data-driven decisions. So it's basically a mathematical simulation method delivering a range of probable outcomes as a result. It does not analyze the data trends, but relies instead on repeated calculation using random inputs. So SAC Compass, we can navigate to SAP Compass in two ways. One through the table. So in the table, we can go create a simulation here, but I would show you how we can do it from the home panel. So here we have an option to create a simulation. Let's get into it. So these simulation settings, these are kind of, once you make the selection and save them, they are fixed. You can't make changes to these selections. These are simulation settings. So I'm going to select sales revenue here. And I would like to add some filters. Say I would add year, I will add company code, So let's say best case scenario 1. So these, while creating the private scenario, we'll get these three options. We should give a scenario name, description, of course, and we can do it on any of the versions. So what really happens here is uh, we can make the changes to these scenarios at any point of time. So let me create it first. So you see here, right? So we have sales revenue. These are the drivers. This is the driver and this is the target. So it's the same thing that I've selected. So I'll just show you what happens when we run this scenario. So we have three options named as preview, medium precision, and high precision. So in Monte Carlo simulation, the preview is the fastest simulation, right? It runs for 1,000 iterations and then give you the result, but not so accurate as the other two are. So medium precision, it balances both time and also the value, whereas high and medium precision runs for 10,000 iterations, whereas high precision runs for 100,000 times, which is kind of slow, but gives you highly accurate results. So let's go with high prediction for now. I haven't entered anything here in the minimum and maximum, right? So it should give me the same baseline here. So yeah, that's what it is. So whatever baseline we have here, it's giving the same value. There is nothing that you could see here, right? So now let me enter just 150 million minimum, and maximum, let's say I'll go with 153 million, right? And I'll run this scenario with high precision. Yeah, we have some results here. So let's go see these results. Right? So we have three different categories here. So the first thing is the percentages and the graph. So you have probability here. You have the baseline value coming up here. Okay. The second thing is you have slider here. I'll explain what slider would do. Okay. And the third thing is it is called as case cards. So Compass doesn't exactly give you a final value, but it will give you a range of possible outcomes. So when uh, when it is a pessimistic case, it will be in this specific range. When it is a realistic case, it's in this specific range. When it is optimistic case, it will be in this specific range, right? So we can change the percentages of pessimistic, optimistic, and realistic case here. We can change the colors, we can change the name of the cases as we want, right? So we have these results here, right? So what does this specific example status, right? So this specific slider, right? So the current, you can see the current baseline is lying in the realistic area of the graph, right? This indicates that the current booked value in the model is within the attained results, but not within the edge cases of 5% on both positive uh, and the negative side. So which is like optimistic and pessimistic case, right? So there is a realistic chance of being achieved from a statistical point of view. So here you see the 92%, right? So the 92% here means that there is a 92% chance of achieving a value higher than the current baseline, which is 150 million, right? But note that since the optimistic case is 153 million, right? This means that there is 92% chance to achieve the value between 150 and 153 million. Similarly, for the 8 percentage on the right, it means that there is a 8% chance of achieving a value between 150 million and 150.8 million, which is a baseline. which is the lowest value attainable in the pessimistic case. So this is what it is based on this result. So we can change the pessimistic percentage to say 7.5, right? And increase or make change to the realistic case as 80% and say pause the optimistic as 13.5. Let me do one thing, right? So I've changed the percentages. I'll run the scenario again, right? I'll go with the high precision. Yeah, so there is a bit change in the results based on the percentages. And so this is all the, so this is a specific private scenario, right? So so for me to make it available for all the users, I need to save this scenario first, right? Save it as a simulation, say uh, sales revenue, right? I can save this. So once I save this, I can go and publish this. So usually it is recommended to simulate the first scenario, right, with value ranges reflecting to uncertainties to understand how the fluctuations would impact the business and where can the compass stand in best and worst case scenarios, right? It would make sense to create further scenarios with value ranges reflecting how the company could mitigate the risk when with the counter strategies, right? So this is the best case scenario one. So I can create a copy of it, right? I can take it as a best case scenario two, right? And I'll go with my best case version here, right? I'll create it and I would say I'll go with 160 million and 185 million. So you see, so these are the results that we have come up with. So now we can do a quick comparison between these two versions, right? And analyze how much would that be in the best case scenario and how much it would be in the base case scenario, worst case scenario, and the realistic scenarios. Thereby planning for in advance to in case of any uncertainties. So in this compass, right? So we can save it again, right? And now this private version can be published. We can create as many scenarios as as we want, and even we can do a comparison on the actuals. So once the actuals are there, we can also create one more scenario, come back, do a quick comparison. How much did we actually forecast, and how much did it actually happen, right? So apart from this, I'm also going to show you one more example in terms of compass. So here, so I've shown you when the drivers and target are same. So now let's do a quick example on the net income, right? And let me do the filters. So yes, okay. Let me go with the forecast scenario. Let me create it. So I can come back here, make changes to the name of the scenario at any point of time. Okay. So if you see, as my target is, I've taken target as a hierarchy of net income, right? It gives me all the drivers or basically all the child that are under that specific hierarchy. So all these drivers would create an impact on the net income. So here we can either choose which all drivers we need to have. We need not run it for all the drivers, right? We can go by specific drivers. We can activate them, we can deactivate them. There are different ways of doing it. So we can directly select all the um, drivers, remove a driver, come here. You have an option to remove the drivers not supporting. So this one, and we can activate and deactivate. So here we can deactivate all these accounts. So these accounts are deactivated. So when we run a scenario, it doesn't really consider all the other drivers. It will only consider this specific driver, right? And when you don't enter the minimum and maximum value here, it doesn't really consider it in simulation. So there's nothing that would impact the target account. So there are different ways of activating and deactivating. We can select it individually. We can remove it. We can do it through a selection here, right? We can uh, uncheck, check, and run different kinds of scenario for different drivers. I can keep copying these scenarios, and each time I can make a change to each of the drivers and run and see how it would impact my target, right? So we also have a concept called as restricted driver here. We can do a restriction. I can so make a specific restriction. It would run only for that specific period, right? The impact would be considered for that specific period. So I can add a restricted driver here. So I can go with the minimum and maximum value and run my scenario. So that's how the compass helps users in scenario planning. So that's it from my side on the presentation side, Dan.
Very good. Thank you, Sri. That was a good demonstration of scenario
Thank
planning and using Compass
you. Thank
to
you.
to assist in that. So appreciate that. I'm sure our listeners and viewers appreciate that as well. And yes, if you have any questions on this content, this presentation, please feel free to reach out to Sri or myself. You can scan any of the QR codes that you see on the screen. So again, thank you for attending and have a great day.
Perfect. Thank you, Sri and Dan. This concludes our today's webinar. As mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Have a great rest of your day or your evening. Greetings over to Europe and over to Asia as well. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Bye-bye.